When is Star Citizen coming out? Some derivative of this is the most common question I get asked, and many will tell you it's never going to be released. I'm sure several of you have already typed it in before making it this far into the video. But Chris Roberts says he thinks it could be 27 or 28. I doubt it. It may happen, but if it did, I'd be worried about the quality of the mechanics. No, I think we're in for a longer ride than that, but that's not all bad. With a clear target in sight for the first time after CIG did lay out the requirements for a 1.0 release, and a pretty solid year of additional content and bug hunting to judge, it's becoming easier now to see the path towards 1.0. And while I think it will still be annoyingly long, I think the journey will be pretty enjoyable regardless. Is Star Citizen releasing in 2028? I don't think so. But for the first time in the game's history, it actually has a solid list of requirements to do so, and a clearer drive to reach them. Today I'm going to break down what Star Citizen at 1.0 aims to be, what features it will include, and when I think we could see it. Which honestly at this point, don't trust anybody's prediction on this one. Thank you for coming to my Tomato Talk. Now, if you haven't noticed, I'm a little bit sick during this one, so bear with me. We'll get through it. What is a release for a game that has been in development for 12 years, and playable in some way for the majority of that time, without ever releasing? For many of you watching, it probably doesn't matter. It's taken too long already, but we're here to talk about a potential release, not the painful path that led us there. If you jump into Star Citizen right now, there's enough content and gameplay to warrant an early access label, not considering stability and bugs. Plenty of people play every day, and the game receives updates every month. There is in-game progression, the ability to buy just about any ship, weapon, or armor you want in-game, and a few storylines to follow. But the game still wipes certain parts of the database when necessary. It's still very unreliable in persistence between updates, and the onboarding and learning experience is absolutely god-awful. Star Citizen's official release depends on a few key things. First, it is when all changes will matter.
And crucially, it means no more resets between patches. It's a true...
No more resets to your wallet, ship hanger, or any of the things you are carrying or storing away. Ship insurance timers kick off, progression becomes permanent. The experience receives polish like you would expect from a proper game release.
This will be a fully released and polished experience.
If you've played Star Citizen, you know we are nowhere near this, but that's because most of the back-end and gameplay systems are only just now finding their feet. Which is another point. Finished game loops.
It means fully rounded gameplay loops.
Mining gameplay includes the nuance of gadgets, components, and ship system maintenance to keep things operational and, not on fire. This profession will be assisted by refining, which relies on cargo hauling to sell materials at the nearby player-made base. All of these things need to intertwine through the economy, game mechanics, and storytelling. This is the key to what Star Citizen has always wanted to offer, an opportunity to experience spaceships from an up-close and personal perspective in their various roles, benefiting from their various design elements, and switching up the experience on a dime without needing to start a new character with a different skill set. But a world with interoperating versions of mining, salvage, combat, hauling, exploration, piracy, and other professions at different levels of difficulty and scale is going to take a long time, but we'll get to that soon. The most important thing to know about Star Citizen's release is the same as with any MMO, or live service for that matter. It doesn't stop there. We already know of a couple game systems that will undoubtedly not be in 1.0 but are still planned, things like NPC crew on board of player spaceships. We also know that while 100 systems is not going to happen at any point for this game probably, there will still be more systems added to the game after that 1.0 date. 1.0 is simply a moment in time, the moment players create their true characters, care about their progression, their criminality and reputation, the moment things start to matter. But for many people, 1.0 and the idea of what it could be does not matter. What is already there is generally what is judged, and there's arguably a lot missing. Now is not the time most people should even try to play. 1.0 will mark that time, when most people who want a casual space MMO experience, albeit in a fairly challenging setting, can finally join in. So if 1.0 is persistence and polish, and interlocking professions and game loops, what exactly are the features and mechanics that are going to drive all that gameplay forward? There are a lot of features needed for 1.0. But beyond pure mechanics, in order to reach that goal of interconnected game loops, they need to meld together. Simply launching these features is not going to be enough. And to do that smoothly by 2028, in my opinion, is a long shot for several reasons. But before we talk about more likely dates, let's take a brief look at just about everything included in Star Citizen feature-wise. First is the flight model, a system of various mechanics including control surfaces, which make ships perform in atmosphere based on their aerodynamic profile. We've seen this in action, but it's still not in-game, though it seems to be making good progress. Then quantum travel is due for a final update. The new model definitely works internally, but still has not been released to players. Finalizing the flight model also means shifting from Master Mode's functionality back to Operator Modes, a major step requiring plenty of balancing. Next, we have ship systems. Engineering is the biggest topic here, the interoperation of power, life support, gravity, and data transfer in ships, space stations, cities, outposts, and more. The current goal is to have the first iteration of it in players' hands for testing by the end of this year. But it's arguably the biggest gameplay system in the game with many ramifications, interacting with other mechanics like the wear and tear system, VTOL flight, hacking, and fire hazards. And this pretty closely relates to item breakability and overheating across ships and weapons. Your things are going to need upkeep to avoid eventually breaking, much like other more simulative games and RPGs, which will allow for more churn of goods throughout the game, hopefully helping to prop up the player economy. Ship radar and scanning also needs to be finalized for exploration and searching throughout the verse for derelicts and resource fields. Alongside this is the actual release of FPS scanning and radar, which function internally, but not for us just yet. AI blades will also allow players to get additional functionality out of their ship systems when they don't have a friend around, but the rollout of blades has been iffy. Player trading in the entire social suite is going to need an overhaul, from groups and voice to beacons, guilds, and reputation, which actually is a big one on its own. In order for the patrols, automated turrets, black market shops, and bounty hunting gameplay to work, Star Citizen needs a much better reputation system, which is nowhere to be seen at the moment. The various guilds and factions of the game also need their mission givers, backstory, special items and ships, and a list of contracts for you to take on. Various locations will need storylines and unique missions attached to them. The game itself will have a main storyline that takes you through these various guilds, the numerous gameplay styles, and the 5-star systems due at launch. Along with their various cities, which will have a lot of explorable building interiors, these 5-star systems are going to come with several planets and moons, all of their own biomes, styles, and safety levels. You're also going to be able to get some upgraded hangar services that let you customize your layout far beyond what is currently in-game with storage and vehicle compartments. And these landing zones, as the cities are called, will also feature their own gameplay that offer a more closed-off PvE and non-combat experience. These will likely be scattered throughout the game as well. But back to those star systems. Right now we currently have Stanton and Pyro in-game. We can expect Nyx to release in 2026, which would mean 1 medium security system and 2 low security systems. But we still need the high security system of Castra with its large military base, and the high security system of Terra, the arguable center of humanity. In addition to the planets and moons, all these star systems need storylines, missions, and factions similar to what has been added to the Stanton system in 2025. But they need those things across combat, mining, salvage, cargo hauling, and other professions that we still haven't even seen in Stanton. Speaking of the professions, there's a lot needed for them to shine. From the points of interest and nuance of scanning in your ship to the ability to apprehend and turn in bounty targets for some credits, a lot of details and in some cases entire professions like building, refining, crafting, and exploration, plus the support systems such as the star map, traversal, and interaction, all still need to be polished or even just added to the game. We're going to need proper crafting in the game soon, something we know is being worked on but even now is looking for a pretty limited implementation, likely not until next year, closely linked to base building, which is needed at various scales along with a full permission and ownership system across the whole game. We'll need the economic simulation that tracks these bases, the base defenses, resource management, wear and tear, and of course, planetary shields. See, in a high security system, your base will be invulnerable due to government supplied shields, but in lawless systems, You'll have to earn these shields through a complex system of ground and space battles throughout the star system, earning points that you can turn in at the end of the week to protect your org. It's a massive PvP sink, enticing those looking for that type of gameplay, mainly large organizations, into a central location. It's a cool idea, but oh boy. And when you thought there might not be more, literally player-built space stations is also a goal, for small to large groups to host a hub of activity, essentially a base in the sky, an expandable center for your group that's unconstrained by the planet it's on, and a place that can be attacked by other groups in an attempt at station warfare to take over each other's bases. On top of all of these, there are plenty of core tech advancements still needed. Global illumination and ray tracing on top of the Vulkan API, dynamic server meshing, the new audio engine, location instancing, the Maelstrom damage system, and Planetech V5, all major parts of a system in constant flux. What I've described to you here is an amazing possibility of a game, but that's what Star Citizen has always been. So when the CEO comes out and hypothesizes that all of these things I've described will be in the game and ready for a polished release in 2 to 3 years, nobody should be surprised it's met with skepticism. The game is making good progress under a better system of management, it seems, and some major breakthroughs. They're doing better than they have in past years. The physical cargo system, server meshing, and the increased content delivery are all good signs. But many players, myself included, are still waiting to see a proper flow of important features. And looking at the list that I just gave you guys, there is a lot that needs to be delivered and also enjoyable and polished and integrated into this system. It's not a simple task. And generally, they're not delivering 10 plus different mechanics in 2 years. The current rate is simply too slow. Engineering as a mechanic, which does touch a lot of the game, has taken years to develop, and even now it's slowly being prepared for player testing to the tune of a staging preparation phase, still possibly not seeing it unveiled to players until the end of the year, possibly next year. While this is arguably the biggest single gameplay system in the game, it's still indicative of the efforts taken to fulfill these systems. And with Squadron 42 still in the maybe zone of launching in 2026, I imagine the distraction that it has afforded to the Star Citizen designers and engineers in 2025 may extend into the next year, considering it does sound like things are pretty tight. While that doesn't mean that the team building Star Citizen isn't still constantly growing, it still makes 3 years sound very ambitious, and given past results would explain why virtually nobody believes it. No, Star Citizen is likely on the far side of that estimate, let's be real. As usual, we're probably hearing internal dates that should never be shared with us, and a 2029 or 2030 1.0 date would be pretty good, I'd say, assuming things all go well. Nixon 2026, Castra in 2027, Terra maybe in 28 or 2029, and a constant flow of gameplay optimizations and features during that time. But this is all my own hopium prediction. I've laid out the features needed for you and given my prediction. You can share your own down in the comments. There's honestly plenty more than this simplified run-through that are going to be in the game, so nobody can actually make the call. And with CIG's history, many are resigned to assume the game will just never release. Some decide to stop paying attention to it, some decide to enjoy what's already there. But know this, as somebody who has followed the project for a while and spent a lot of time making content to explain it to people, I can see that this is a different studio than it was a few years ago. Less friendly, personable, and open, more corporate, more driven, and definitely more effective. Whether due to competition, deadlines, or simple culture shift, they've gotten much better at sticking to the goal that they have and making progressive steps towards it. We've seen some people come and go, we've seen some move throughout the company, and we've seen some faces take more of a backseat in communication. I'm not going to say that any of these things are linked directly to this change, but clearly something has been changing at the company. And you can see it in their more focused communication, generally coming from their CTO, lead designers, or lead producer of the game. Their more cohesive deliveries throughout the year, with updates every month now, the initiatives to tackle tech debt, actually setting a target goal for a 1.0, and making sacrifices in the name of an actual good experience. They're definitely still learning, and they've got a long way to go. It's been a rough path, but I think CIG might actually be coming out of the growing pains and transitioning into getting a game or two released. But remember, at any point, you can jump into what's already there and try it out. Virtually everything is available for the $45 price of the game, and many people already play every day because there is enough to keep them entertained. If you'd like to jump in and haven't made an account, you can use the Join Tomato link down below, getting you some extra credits to get you started, but also kicking some credits back to one of our channel supporters. But with new updates every month to the game right now, you're not going that long without seeing new content. And the community here is genuinely an amazing time. So while the release date, in my opinion, is definitely not 2027, and most likely not 2028, that really only marks the beginning of permanence. Not necessarily for a lot of people, the start line for enjoyment. This game isn't a scam, but looking at the history of it in detail, it's pretty clearly been mismanaged. It outgrew its bounds, it got way ahead of itself. While they've done a phenomenal job at keeping this all on the rails and building out an incredibly powerful game engine, it's only more recently that they've begun proving there's a real game coming out of this. While that doesn't mean there is a game coming in Chris's timeline, I do think there are enough people leading this project now that have a set target we can expect to at least progress towards. Hopefully it lands how they hope it will. If you'd like to know more about how the management of the company has recently shifted around to potentially make the biggest difference in the release timeline of this game, check out my video looking at the Turbulent Studio acquisition back in 2023. And then you can also look at my 2024 overview video looking at the C-suite changes we've been seeing over the last year and a half. Both are linked below and will tell you more about what's been going on more company-wise than game-wise. And if you want a front row seat to the rest of the journey to 1.0 and beyond, consider subscribing here for more. And before you go, I'd like to tell you about this video's sponsor. Tobii creates eye tracking hardware and software that integrates directly into Star Citizen for extra control. And while I use it every day for that, I also think you'd be interested in its security functions. Since it ties directly into Windows Hello, it also allows you to sign into your computer using eyes, verify purchases online with your Retina, and switch between apps on the desktop just by looking around. Combined with the ability to aim and look around your ship like you're in VR, control the third-person camera like you got a third hand, and allowing you to look around while you're moving around on foot in Star Citizen, as well as its functionality in a whole bunch of other games, I do consider this a pretty solid choice if you've already got all your flight gear set up. Currently, you can also get 15% off on the device using the link down below and code SPACETOMATO at checkout if you're interested. This deal will be going until October 20th, but you can always check back if it's something that you're interested in, as I can always get you a 5% discount using my code. Thank you for watching this video until the end. I hope you learned something new in it, and I'll catch you in the next.